Hello everyone, and happy holidays from EO2 and sunny San Antonio right now. I'd like to share some highlights of what we've done in 2020, and for those of you that don't know much about the company, we are in San Antonio and we make a wound care product that takes a device about the size of a cell phone and converts air into oxygen, and we deliver it to a proprietary dressing and sets up sort of like negative pressure, but it's an all-inclusive, complete system for wound care. So it's unlike a lot of the other oxygen treatments that you're going to find out there in the marketplace right now. Now, for highlights, because we've been doing this for about 10 years now, the year probably started off a little harsh in that the DME Max decided to have their contract advisory committee meet and formulate an opinion on our available literature. And it's supposed to be representative of public experts in the wound care field. And unfortunately, I think it was pretty devoid of any significant expertise. And as a result, the DME Max came out with a position that said, no, we're not going to grant local coverage determination for your technology. So needless to say, that's a pretty big bummer for us in San Antonio. But I am really appreciative with, kind of the results of that, because people get together and face adversity, a little differently. And in our case, we actually worked with the 3 other oxygen therapy companies, topical oxygen therapy companies that are out there. And when there was the public hearing to discuss the DME MAC decisions, I think we put on a first-class presentation from 23 what you would consider to be very serious, world-renowned experts in wound care that rebutted the DME decision. I found it equally as interesting that, in our case, we brought 2 patients. One's a vet and one was Native American. And I saw a real difference in the DME MAC medical directors at that meeting when they actually turned their chairs to look the patients directly versus the talking heads, that the rest of us are. And it's a constant reminder to me of what we're doing and why we do it. Because these are patients, both of them were headed for below the knee amputation, had their wounds for a long period of time, and were facing, an amputation. And they first off, they walked to the podium. Okay, that's the important piece. All right, this is one of the criticisms we get is quality of life. Well, I can't think of a higher quality of life than keeping your limbs and being able to walk around. Well, both these gentlemen walked to this podium, told their story, and guess what? Because they tried our product as a last resort, when all the other approved therapies failed them, they healed. And both of them have their limbs today, thanks to the efforts of this little company in sunny San Antonio. So I'm very appreciative of that effort, and I'm appreciative of Max and Andres to help us out with it. I'm also appreciative with the other thing that happened is the COVID crisis starts, and we shut the plant down on March 13th. Not that I remember those dates, because I really thought that was going to be a significant blow to our overall performance for the year. And what are we going to do differently? And how do you possibly sell a new product that few people know about without face-to-face? And so the first thing is how do we keep everybody employed? You don't want to lay people off. We're pretty close to each other. Sorry. I'm a softie. I was born that way, I think. It's interesting how a team binds together. And so we saw an opportunity to actually, let's introduce our next generation product and make the improvements to the dressings that we thought we should make. Let's do it now. Keep everybody involved and focused on those kinds of tasks. So, I think Q and Jim and his team did a great job keeping everybody at various locations, home. A small group of people left here in the plant to actually get product out the door. But we successfully launched a new product, two dressings and a device, in a time when the world was coming apart. So it speaks to the core. The other thing then is COVID started, and I'm thinking, how can I maintain any kind of financial performance? When you can't, when you have a sales team that can't go make face-to-face calls. So I'm appreciative to our selling team, Kate and Dean and Scott, who found a way to keep our business rolling. But we learned some things about ourselves and perhaps things that we're going to continue to do going forward. And that is the control of our message through these kinds of media. Talk directly to your patients and to the clinicians that use the product. And we adapted. We adapted to start doing virtual webinars and presentations, and we found ourselves to be reasonably effective at it. So out of the ashes rise the phoenix. And I think we're permanently changed and better. Unfortunately, that sounds a little twisted, but better having lived through through that. I'm grateful. Along the way, we made changes in our clinical support staff, something that we're very proud of, because we not only want to sell a product, therapy, or service, but we want to make sure that we're providing the right education to optimize what this product can really do. So Cindy and her staff, Cindy's a great leader, and we've improved our data collection. And lo and behold, we could actually use a lot of the data for some of those webinars that I just previously spoke to, that we wouldn't have been able to pull that kind of thing off without their contribution. The next is some real significant impacts in Canada, and Phil and his team in Canada, that a group of consulting clinical specialists that are absolutely first class in the wound care field have done some things that I didn't think were possible, and I've only been doing this 45 years. I know it doesn't show, but the establishment of a beachhead in the Maritimes was a big help. Where we're getting the product reimbursed and Prince Edward Island. And there are things going on at the tail end of this year, including getting on GPO contracts and preparing for another provincial trial in one of the major provinces in Canada. It's all due to the efforts of Phil and his team. Next is, financial people don't often get recognized, but Justin does a great job, with a very small staff. And a big part of what's been going on in New York is really his ability to quickly learn what the New York business looks like, and to come alongside and create systems both for delivery of the product as well as for monitoring and measuring our performances, that I'm very grateful that Justin is the man, having maintained that all the work that has to be done to start a market such as New York. And I don't think there's anything harder than New York. And sorry for the New Yorkers that might be listening in, but you live in a tough area of the world. The other one is I'd like to recognize, we got a guy in customer service that if you ask him for a shirt, expect to have it in a box, because it's going to show up. And everybody loves them. You know, someday I'll grow out of this. I won't be so damn childish. But yeah, I get like this. So, you know, you're just going to have to deal with it. I'd like to recognize Q. And it's kind of singularly because he kind of has a borderless talent, a PhD that has a personality and a work ethic to match. So much of our clinical efficacy data that we've been able to collect over the years is really due to his hard work. And this year wasn't any different other than COVID, right? I'm going to have to do it all from home. I'm going to have to do it remotely, and staff isn't always in the locations that you'd like them to be. But his ability to get the job done, to put it in a PowerPoint presentation, and have the ability to also present it effectively, and yeah, humor once in a while, but he's got to work at that. I'm also want to recognize our shareholders that have been very patient with us while we create something totally new that CMS doesn't even know what category we belong into. The coding process is significantly slowed down by the fact that we don't have one of these. We don't fit into any of their boxes. And so it takes investments from people that are totally committed to us being successful. So I'm grateful for the VGM group and a lot of other smaller investors that hang in there with us. And lastly, I'd like to thank the clinical people that already have our product, know it works, know how well it works. And I invite anybody that might be listening in that hasn't seen or used our product yet, I challenge you, go online, identify yourselves to us, tell us you want to try it, and we want to hear from you, because you should see the miracles that this produces. All right, it is clearly a technology that is transformative in the wound care space, and as a result, there's a lot of people who would prefer us not to be terribly successful, but I'm counting on you, all right, to help us be successful. So thank you, everyone, and I hope everyone has a blessed holiday. Enjoy time with the family. That's a little echo chamber for myself too. And Happy New Year, everyone. Next year, it's going to be a lot easier, I hope and pray, for everyone. All right, have a good day.